Hey guys, all right, so I'm recording now. Excuse me, now I get something in my throat. I just had a shake ball. So I was telling you guys before I hit record that I kind of figured out what it was that brought me to where I am right now. And it's not something that's, this huge thing that nobody can do. And it really starts back from when I first started my business. As most of you know, I came into this for the business. So I had to do a lot of research right off the bat. I didn't have time to just float through coach training, or I didn't have time to go through a challenge group. I literally had to start it the day that I started. So it all started, and I don't know if you guys have heard of this personal development, which if you haven't, I suggest you read it. And I have to say, it's not really so much personal development that's going to build like leadership or anything like that. But I think it was good for me because it helped me realize what this was, but it's also going to expand on what I'm going to talk about. And it's called A Curious Mind. I think I've talked about it before. So I listened to this audio and I literally could not put it. So I was, walking through the food store, listening to it on my headphones. I could not stop listening to it. And it just, every chapter just got better and better. So a little bit about it, and I think you can tell from the topic, or from the title of it, that from the start of my business, I have had a curious mind, 100%. And it has brought me to where I am today. On top of that, you kind of have to get rid of the whole fear thing that everybody has when they first start off. And I always like to put in perspective, so for me, this is how I came into this business. If I didn't make this work, I wouldn't be able to do X, Y, and Z, right? And I needed to do X, Y, and Z. We needed to get out of debt. We needed to be able to pay for our own groceries, so on and so forth. But so for me, I always want to make you guys start thinking, what if you couldn't pay for your groceries? What would you do? What if you couldn't, put gas in your car? How would you make that work? What if it took you to sell 3 challenge packs a month to feed your children? These types of questions need to go through your mind, because it's one of the things that's going to drive you to have that curious mind. And what I'm talking about is when I first started, I've gone over it numerous times, but I printed off the entire Coach Training Academy in the back office, all the PDFs, and I put it in a 3-inch 3-ring binder, and I dove into it from the start. Curious mind, wanting to learn the best and fastest way to grow and make income with this business, because that's what I was here for. I knew if I had a question, I asked my upline, right? So if something came across on the Coach Training Academy that I had a question about, I'd send it to her, or I'd ask in the team page and somebody else would answer it. If I asked in the team page and somebody else answered it, I wouldn't go back and forth on the comment section. I would message that person and I'd create a friendship. I would create a bond. I'd create a relationship with them. And at that point, that has helped me as well, because now I have numerous friendships throughout the entire team. So like, for example, my first week as a coach, Melanie was in Disney World, and I was texting her nonstop because I was literally going from day one. So she finally put Melinda, who is one of my closest friends now, in contact with me. That was the first time I ever talked to her. And from that day forward, we have been friends ever since. So having that curious mind where you're willing to do the research. Once you do the research and you have questions, about that, if you still like things are not answered or you don't know something about X, Y, and Z, then you ask your upline. If you are training with your upline, that's awesome. If you're not, get into trainings. I was put into groups all the time that could help build my business. Anything that was, offered that I saw, whether it was my upline running it or somebody else that was doing well in the company or business in the team, I was asking if I could join, as long as it was open. So the first thing I had a curious mind about was products. I knew what they were, how much they were, what came with them. This is all important. You have to know the product catalog. You have to be able to talk to a potential client or challenger or coach and let them know or ask them, hey, what are your goals? And they come back and tell you, and you can say, okay, I think these 2 challenge packs would be great for you. You have to be able to do that. It's not up to, you posting in the team page or you asking your upline. These are things you have to have a curious mind about to do the research yourself. Shakeology benefits, know that. Make your script out. It doesn't have to be different for every person. Shakeology never changes. So I have this whole script in my head that I just type out for everybody. Same thing. It's very short and to the point, but it still portrays the benefits of it. There's a whole bunch of information on Shakeology. I do suggest that you brush up on your knowledge of it, because that is the one part that people are like, I'll do the fitness, but I'm not so sure about this shake that you got. I have my own protein shake and stuff like that. And you have to know how to combat that. You have to know, you have to have a curious mind enough to learn about it, because yes, it does take time. But once you do, you'll be able to close those sales better, right? So that was number 1. Number 2 is about the business. Curious mind about the business. Wherever your goal is to go, whether it's 15-star or Millionaires Club or paying off debt, whatever it is, you need to find out in this business how you obtain it, okay? And it might not come from your upline, because your upline may have had a completely different viewpoint. And here's my example. Melanie is double 15-star diamond coach. She's my upline if you didn't know. She just went 7-star in her 3rd business center. For her, she built to diamonds. She built to 15 stars. For me, the volume is more important to me. So I'm not shooting up to 15-star, but I'm building my volume. So what happens is, and this is leading into curious mind number 3, is I started reaching out to other coaches in the network, finding out what's working for them, having a curious mind enough to ask them, step out of your comfort zone and ask them, hey, you seem really good at this. Would you be willing to set up a phone call with me? We all come into the business with a new set of coaches. So think about who is around. I'm not talking about like messaging top coaches. I'm talking about people who have stood out to you that have done what you want to do or excel in something that you want to learn that's somewhere near where you are. And I'll give an example. Raina Odell, I don't know if you know who she is. She friended me when she was a diamond coach and I was 2-star, I think. Never accepted her friend request. And then she flew past in rank and is now, 13-star. And before she hit that period, though, we had started talking because I had seen some things that I was following her that she was doing that I wanted to know more about. So I messaged her and we started talking. And I asked her, the one thing that this audio or book, that whatever way you get it, talks about is you will never know if you don't ask. So I have asked numerous coaches that are now, doing very well in the business, to get on a phone call with me or ask them if they would get on a phone call with me. And I would say 95% of them have. So I'm not saying go out and message, the top 10 people, because that's not going to happen. They're way too busy. But find the people who are somewhere where you are or where you want to be relatively close, and figure out what they're doing, or make new connections. Join, if you're in New Jersey, join the New Jersey Coaches Group. If you're in Pennsylvania or a different state, and you don't think there is a group, start one. You're going to meet other people from other teams that you're going to create a bond with, and they will become your best success club or your best success partners. And you will be able to see other people. So I'm in a group right now that is a whole bunch of coaches, and one of the girls posted something, and I know her. We're friends on Facebook. We've talked like maybe twice. And she posted something that was personal on that page. So I messaged her and I said, hey, this is the way I've 100% built my business. So if you want to chat, let me know. It's not, it's not something that you should be scared about, X, Y, and Z. And she got back to me and we scheduled a phone call. She told me, don't worry, I'm not going to take up too much of your time. And I said, you know what? We're going to trade because you've built your business in ways that I'm lacking. So we're going to share information. So always having that curious mind and not being afraid to ask for a phone call, or, hey, do you have 2 minutes? Can I have 2 minutes of your time? You really are excelling at Instagram, and for some reason I just can't do it. Can you give me your top 5 tips? Or I'm really struggling with leadership. I love how much your team loves you and the team culture, and can you give me some insight on how you handle that. Whatever it is, you're finding these coaches and you're connecting with them. So I 100% that those 3 things have severely helped my business grow, because I've never stopped. I've never stopped trying to get better at the things that I'm bad at. I've never stopped having a curious mind as to what other people were doing and what were working for them and why they're not working for me. I've never stopped knowing our products. I've never stopped. That's posted in the wall as far as discussions and stuff like that. Like right now, there's a discussion going on in the wall. The wall is for 5 stars and above. There's a discussion with the CEOs that there's a whole bunch of us that are not happy that the Recover formula is only 20 servings. Okay? We're just not so happy about it, because there's a lot of us that have 2 people going through it. So in 10 days, we need to order a whole new batch. So I'm constantly keeping up on all of that stuff as well. Anything in the breaking news that comes out, that's important to bring back to your team. Just knowing all of this stuff is not only going to help you, but it's going to help you help your team. Okay, so if you are not doing the research and the product awareness or growing in the areas that you're lacking, your team's not going to, right? So honestly, I'm pretty sure you were probably hoping like, oh my gosh, she's got the secret sauce. I don't, but 100% having the openness to learn and to not be afraid to ask somebody for their time. I've asked people that have never messaged me back. I've just gone on to the next person, right? So it's kind of, you gotta have to get over that fear of the no response, or, that you're gonna bother somebody. I ask once, if they don't, I move on. So does that make sense? Do you feel as though you have one or you need to grow yours? You just sitting. It's important. I've literally have been racking my brain for 20, 29, 30 months trying to figure out what it was or what it is that continues this little roller coaster. And I have to say that listening to that book really just put it in perspective. And I said, that's it. Like, I'm not afraid to ask somebody for their time. I'm not. So if they don't want to give it or they can't, they'll let you know. Obviously, don't waste theirs if it's something that's small. But, I've talked to Brigitte Linford on the phone about team culture. That was shortly after I think it was last year's summit, when she got the leadership award. And I've talked to Leslie Cortez on the phone, all because I've asked, there's things that I follow these people for, and I say, hey, that really inspired me, or can I pick your brain for a minute? Whatever it is. Does that make sense? Okay. So my call to action, I want you guys to think about where in your business, first and foremost, I'm not going to have you do everything all at once, but where in your business do you need to become more curious about? And have that as your goal for the rest of September. Make it so that you have become so curious about it that you know. And obviously, if it's something that, is not like a product or a program or whatever, or anything like that you have to learn, I would start looking at other people who are somewhat near where you are in your business or where you want to be, and start creating a conversation. Find some groups that have to do with Beachbody, where coaches are sharing information. That's the best way to gain new knowledge. The groups that you get in, like the New Jersey group, if you're in that group, they're going to share information on what's working for them and what's not, and ask for advice, and you might be able to give it to them, or you might be able to ask for advice. So make it a priority to be curious. Okay, 100%. It's important. It's going to keep you growing. It's going to keep you knowledgeable. On top of that, I'm going to be putting a survey in Revelation Fitness, so make sure you fill it out. But if you have been a coach for an extended period of time where you are only doing one program, you kind of need to switch it up. There are some coaches that come into this business that are kind of stale, and they want to work the business, but for some reason it's not catching. We can't come into this and just use our favorite program over and over and over again. People are going to get tired of seeing it. We need to be able to experience the new programs, like Size or Hammer and Chisel, which unfortunately I can't do at this moment, but I'm certainly going to be talking about it. So you have to invest in your business as well. If you're not investing in what we're selling yourself, then how can you expect other people to do it, right? So the performance line, how many of you have bought the performance line? It's important. How many of you have done or bought the Boost line, Shakeology Boost line? It's important. These things are what are going to drive your business. You must have a curious mind about our products and programs so that your customers have a curious mind about our products and programs. If you are not doing it, you cannot expect someone else to, right? So obviously, like for me, I haven't used the Digestive Health or the Power Greens because I don't need anymore. But I love the Boost, like the Energized Boost. And I have that every day. So it's important. Even if you order the sample pack of the performance line, it's like $20, I think. Try them. Talk about them. Let people know that they're available. How many of you know that we sell skincare? Have you tried it? Do you know about it? Could you sell it? If somebody messaged you and said, hey, I was on the Beachbody website, what is this derm exclusive? Would you know? Be aware and be curious of the things that we have to offer. Okay? Especially if you're a woman. That really doesn't apply to Kyle because I don't think any guys are going to be messaging and be like, hey, how do I get rid of these wrinkles? But it's important to know because, heck, how many women out there are using skincare products that are not healthy and safe? We have a whole line, so you can market them as well. So have that curious mind in your business, in our products, in the background, the CEOs, the people who are working for us in the back end, know who they are, know who your region manager is, so that when you get up there, you know who you're going to be talking to. All of these things all add up into this nice little bundle of success. Knowing. Being able to tell your coaches to start knowing. Start it. Just start that snowball. If there's a program that you've been dying to try and can't afford it, go sell 3 of them and tell them you're going to do it with them, and then take your commission to buy it. You got to have that mindset. If you're in a business mindset, you're going to sacrifice now for long-term gain. I promise, 100%. I was there. If you don't know about my story, we were literally thinking about signing bankruptcy papers, right? Those $30 a month Shakeology orders could have helped tremendously if I had a whole bunch of them, but I sacrificed in the beginning, and now we're reaping the benefits. So it's just getting into that mindset. Curious mindset, business mindset, module mindset, all that good stuff. Does anybody have any questions, concerns, add-ins? You're just quiet. I don't like doing all the talking. Hi, Jonas. No? Nobody? All right. Well, I'm not going to keep you. We have Diamonds have a call in a half hour. So I'll see you all the Diamonds on there. But if you have any questions about this or want to know more about that book, I can post it in Revelation Fitness. It's important. Any other question?
I do have a question. Sorry. What was the name of that book again? I didn't get to write it down.
It's called A Curious Mind.
Oh, okay.
I can see who it's by. The guy who, where did my audiobooks go? I'll have to find it for you, but it's called A Curious Mind. Yeah, I think he's a Broadway.
I think his name is Larry David.
Sure, I don't know.
I just know he was like a director, producer, or something. It's a really good book. You should read it. I'm reading it right now.
Yep, very good. So that's that. Everybody good? Yeah. So Success Club, September's a hard month. Can I get a heck yeah? It's a hard month. Everybody's back to school. Everybody's now trying to figure out a new routine. Nobody's around. So things to take advantage of: 7-day shred and cleanse, because the cleanse is on sale. PiYo, it's going to be really hard to sell, but if you can do it, great. 21 Day Fix is it's only $20 more, like really. But I always like to take advantage of the refresh when it's on sale with short 7-day shred and cleanses. So it is an option if you are looking. And I have a challenge group starting on the 21st. It's called Find Your Fight. So if you have anybody that you're lagging and your group started and somebody comes in late, you're more than welcome to add them to mine. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Amy put the name in the chat. I don't know if you saw it. Brian Grazer. Okay. I'm not going to keep you guys. I'll post the recording. All right. Hope it was helpful. Hope you know where you need to change and have a more curious mind about. All right. Have a good night, everyone. Bye.